everyone, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build video. And today we're going to be building this Yorkshire Dale Village inspired for this autumnal fall season. But quick little notice before I go and talk about the video. I have put a poll on my post section of my channel. So if you go onto like the part where you normally see like little updates like posts and stuff, I put a little poll out because for this season, I've got a calendar of all the builds I'm supposed to do. So I'm a bit more organized with it. And with that calendar, I originally was thinking of doing like an abandoned zombie apocalypse type of American town, small town. So it was going to have like an abandoned gas station, some abandoned homes, and all like in the depths of the woods and stuff, maybe even a convenience store. But then I was like, I'm really interested in doing these two other ideas, but I know that I will burn out completely if I do all three. So it's now in your hands. At the moment, so far, a lot of the votes have gone towards the French Quarter, which I saw it and I was like, why did I even put this on the poll? I don't want to do this. I'm okay. I do want to do it. But the problem is that it's just so heavy, and it's like one of the builds I've done that has been so completely out of like my mental space. Like I do not know. I cannot even think how I even will go about making it. So it's going to be a completely new place to go, but it will be good for me. It's good to go outside of my comfort zone because I was doing I finished it. Right, I finished this build. I was doing the final touches with this. I have to finish this. I told you guys the reason why this is in part 1 and part 2. Normally I would make this into and just in one entire video. But the reason why it's in part 1 and part 2 is because every single building is furnished. So that means not only are you going to get the first cottage, which you're going to get the second one and third one, all 3 bedrooms each, except for the first one, which is 4 bedrooms, and the flat on top of the bookstore are all furnished with their own little stories and everything like that. And I was just pumping it out. I was furnishing back to back and I was like, is this my style? Is this what I like to do? Because I just kept on getting inspired over and over as I kept on furnishing them. I think the only thing that I hated furnishing the most was probably when I had to start furnishing like the bar and stuff, because I've gone so bad at doing community lots because I do so many residentials, but I was just sitting there literally just furnishing them. It took me about 1 hour per house, so it's like 3 hours of footage for the houses themselves. I didn't record myself furnishing the flat because I didn't think I was going to. I thought I was going to leave it empty, but then I started doing the kitchen and I was like, there is a story here. So I ended up just finishing it and I had a lot of fun with it. And then what else? And then I furnished the church and I furnished the pub because I was like, these are the areas I need to fit. Oh, I also furnished the bookstore that lies underneath the flat. But I had so much fun furnishing, especially the last house. I was actually quite like hesitant in furnishing I'm not going to talk too much in there because in part 2, I'll talk more about the furnishing, but the last house, which is the house that I'm currently doing the exterior for right now, I was a little bit hesitant on doing it because I was like, what do? I don't know what to do because the first one I knew awesome. Sorry, I know I'm jumping all over the place. Let me just quickly say something. I was inspired by characters from Harry Potter as I was doing the furnishings. Also, disclaimer, I don't agree with anything that J.K. Rowling has ever said on her tweet regarding anything to do with trans women or anything like that. Trans women are women. So let's get that into the book. So I was like, okay, I can't straight out just do what's it called? Godric Hollow, because I don't necessarily know too much about it. As I said before in a lot of my videos, I am what's the term? I consume a lot more fanon Harry Potter content than I consume canon Harry Potter content. So within the stuff that I see either on my Pinterest or I see on like TikTok and stuff like that, a lot of the stuff that I consume with Harry Potter nowadays is very like headcanon-esque. I used to canon stuff a lot more, but then I was just like, I kind of I'm not interested. I'm distancing myself from that. And then I discovered that the world of fan can be quite interesting and it's fun. So a lot of the stuff to do with Harry Potter, I too can see, and that's quite fan. So I read the books in a long time, watched the films in a long time, so I was like, I do not know what to do. I can't make Godric's Hollow because I have no idea what it even looks like now. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Let me just make a Yorkshire Dale Village, because I've always thought York always had like the most beautiful architecture there is. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's those kind of English villages are just so cute. And I think that they're kind of escapist for me, because I feel like if I stepped there, everyone would just stare at me, and I don't like that. So I've never really had the opportunity to go to a Yorkshire village, but I've always seen pictures of like cottages and stuff in Yorkshire, and I do have family in York. It's like I'm such an anxious person stepping into environments that aren't necessarily overcrowded, that I feel like people are staring at me if they're not. So for example, I can go into London, I can go into Manchester, I can go into Birmingham town centre, because there's so many people minding their own business. They're not going to stare at me. But go to a sleepy town, go to a village. No, I'm not doing that, because they will know I'm not from here because I haven't grown up there, and they will look at me, and I don't like it when people look at me. So, because it makes me feel sad. I need to fix that. But anyway, I was just like, oh, okay, I love the way that Yorkshire looks, the Yorkshire villages look and stuff like that. And when I think of Yorkshire villages, and I think of, because I had to have characters in mind when building these houses, because if I just built them generically, I would have burnt out from the first house. I have to have a story in my head of who are the people who live in these houses. So that's why I ended up being like, okay, let me think about Harry Potter 2024. Who's going to be living here? And I was like, okay, these are the families I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Potters, which is going to be Harry Potter, Ginny Weasley, Ginny Potter, and all of them lot for the main first one that I decorate. And then the second one, I was like, well, of course he's going to be one to be me, his like best friend. So I'm going to use the Weasleys, which is Hermione and Ron. I'm going to use them for the second house. And since it's in 2024, I do remember that in Cursed Child that all of the children are quite close with each other. So I was like, okay, so is they going to be close with each other? Who else was part of the tight-knit group? And then I was like, Scorpius Malfoy. So I was like, okay, but this is going to be a lot weird, because I don't think Draco would live anywhere near the Weasleys or the Potters. But I was like, they're the people, like, I feel like all the friends, the village kids are close friends. So I was like, okay, I'll put Draco in the last house, which is the one I'm talking about, where I had like a lot of fun decorating, because it's very gothic cottage kind of vibes. And it's so much fun. I have never done a kitchen like the way I did that kitchen. And I was like, I love this kitchen. I love everything about it. And I always do such complex exteriors sometimes that I really struggle with like floor plans and stuff. Like, I mean, just look at my previous video. I created a futuristic city, a utopia, and half the rooms are like the oddest shapes ever, because it was so heavily focused on the extravagance of the exterior that like the interior got damaged because of it. But then in this time around, the exterior was just so simple. It's just a box. These houses are just cuboids. So I was like, I've got so much free range on how I choose to decorate the floor plans. And since I had so much free range in that, I was like, I can do anything in terms of floor plans. So even though they're virtually the same size, they all have different floor plans according to the type of family that live there. So in the Potters, I decided to do it more generic in terms of the average kind of cottage vibes, like the very homey, very wholesome. I imagined it when I thought of the idea that Harry Potter never really had a proper family home. He kind of lived in just a very generic area. That this is what he would want. He would like a mixture of the borough, but also kind of extravagance, because he never really got that extravagance, but he would never be too extravagant, because he's not Draco. He's not his cousin. He's not those people that value like materialistic things. He wants better than the life he had, but also like humbleness. So I decided that in his house, as you can see, it is the second biggest, I believe, is it? I think so. It is the second biggest, and it has a shed for any kind of Quidditch brooms. Or you could just have it a normal shed, because what I did is that as well as decorated it in the minds of the Harry Potter characters, I did decorate it a little bit more generically as well. So I have their personalities in mind, but not entirely of who they are, in terms of wizards and stuff like that. So I think Draco's is the one that's more prominently, oh, a wizard lives here. But then the other ones are more like, you can move any family here and it doesn't matter what occult they are. It doesn't really affect the interiors. So I was like, okay, that's how I'm going to do stuff. Also, just quick note, this pond, this entire village was based around me using these curved walls for this pond. Like the entire basis of how I was going to do this village, I was like, I just know I want to make a pond and I want to make that. Sadly, the bridge is not functional because I didn't want to fight with it. I didn't want to do it. It took me a lot to do, like, place the houses and everything, because I kept going in and out of game deciding, is this the lot I want to use for my village? But I was just like, you know what, let me just use it. It's fine, because I wanted it a bit closer to the road, because obviously you can see that the road stretches out. But then I was like, you know what, it's fine. It's okay. It's whatever. It doesn't have to be close to the road. And it just looks so cute. You can just really imagine it being really sleepy. Do you know what it also reminds me of? If you've watched Doctor Who, right? Bringing out all the British media right here. If you've ever watched Doctor Who, there was this one episode, I think it was called the Dream episode or something like that, where Amy, the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith's Doctor, Amy and Rory were all in the TARDIS, and then there was a dream doctor, spoiler alert, there was like a dream doctor, which is basically the Doctor's subconscious, and they took them to a sleepy village very similar to this one. And that's where Amy was pregnant, and they were trying to decide which one is a dream, because they had to die in one in order to, like, succeed in the other. So they had to find out, is the TARDIS dying, or is Amy dying? Like, they had to decide which one is which. And then the ultimate ending was that when Amy found out Rory died, she was like, there is no universe I live in where he's gone and I'm still here. So she ended up getting rid of her and the Doctor in that universe, only to find out that the true universe was the TARDIS getting colder, so then they could fix that. And I thought that was such a cool concept and such a good foreshadowing. Again, spoiler alert for Doctor Who. It was such a good foreshadowing, because that's basically what Amy strives to do. I feel like, I'm not going to go too into it, but a lot of people say that Amy did not care for Rory, and I'm just like, she very well did, because at every instance beyond maybe the first season or the first 5 episodes, she picked Rory amongst anything and everything, except for the whole situation where it was just before her wedding night and she decided to snog the Doctor. After that, every single time she picked Rory. Oh, Rory's gone here? Yeah, you, me, and the Doctor will go in, we're leaving. We're not existent in this universe. I don't care if it's the real universe. I will take out one of the most powerful creatures in the entire universe in order to make sure that I join my husband in whatever life that comes after them. And I thought like, yeah, that is Amy Pond. But anyway, again, and distracted. So when it came to these houses, I was thinking, okay, so that's the house, that's the idea that I have for the Potter's house. The second idea was with the Weasley house. I was like, I imagine that it's going to be a mixture of comfort, so very similar to the Potter house. It's going to have that kind of comforting aura that Ron brought over from the Burrow. But I also imagine, since Ron was always kind of forgotten and Hermione is a Muggle-born, so she is from the Muggle world. So she knows about modernism and contemporaryism, and so she's such a future thing. She's just so futuristic in mindset or stuff like that. I thought the house will have a homey vibe, but a lot more clean aesthetic to it. It's still got the very kind of cluttered aesthetic that comes with Ron coming from the Burrow, but there's also that very clean aesthetic that Ron is his new person now. He is not just a Weasley. Yeah, he is Ron Weasley, but this is now his home and he can decorate it as he likes. And since him and Hermione have a lot more money now, they can decorate the house how they choose to decorate it, which will have a lot more of a clean aesthetic to it. So that's how I imagined that second house to be. Again, this is utilizing character personalities from Harry Potter, but when you enter it, there's no distinctive aspects of each character. So there are certain things, like, for example, I never use pets. I realized that I never used pets, but I did add a lot of cat-like items within that second house, the Weasley house, because I wanted to honor Crookshank. So I was like, okay, this house, they have a cat. This house has a toddler, and this house has a child girl. So I was like, this is how I'm going to decorate it in order to that. The same way with the Potter's house. I was like, I'm going to decorate it that there's 2 male children and there's like 1 female child. So that's how I decorated that house. But again, nothing distinctively then. There is like a guitar here and there, like honoring the kind of aesthetic that Sirius had, but never really truly ... This is Harry Potter's house. Do you get what I mean? And then the last one, I'm really quick. And the last one, I'll talk about it in the next video because I don't even have a room tour for me to let this go on with. So I'm just going to say my piece and go. But yeah, also didn't Harry Potter just look really good in the intro? So sad he was over his parents' graves and all of that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But if you don't want to, that's also okay. I appreciate you staying this long and listening to all of my ramblings. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments, the more the merrier. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.